came to Harlow because my father, who worked at Cheryl Press, his company moved from Hertford to Harlow. So that's why the whole family moved here in November 1969.
And where was Cheryl Press?
So Cheryl Press was in Hertford.
And when it moved to Harlow?
Yes.
And whereabouts in Harlow? In Templefield, right?
Yes. So it was just a bike ride away. So that's what my dad quite liked, this house.
If you say this house, we're in Churchfield.
Yes.
Yeah, which is, if anybody doesn't know, it's near First Avenue, small copper, always use a pub as a landmark. Okay. And so take us from there. School, where were you at school?
So I went to Mark Hall School. So I started in the 4th year, but my sister, she was 3 years younger, so she started in the 1st year.
So that must have been tricky, starting school in 4th year in Harlow. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was quite hard, though. In Hertford, I suppose I must have been about 15, and I found myself slacking. I could do the work quite easily, started slacking. So actually moving was quite kick up the backside for me, really. I started the new school, and the teaching was excellent. We had some really good teachers there, the old style teachers, you know, Miss V. Crook.
You can even tell we said Miss V. Crook.
That's right. Mr. Beedham. You know, these, I mean, like Vera Cook, she did English literature, and she really loved her subject. You could see in her eyes. So, and they spurred me on, and so that was really good, and encouraged me to go to college, which I probably would never have done. So, really grateful.
And that was important, isn't it? People actually saying you can do this, you can go to college. So did you go to college?
Yes, I did. Yeah. So I did psychology in Portsmouth.
All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy that?
I did. I really enjoyed it. Really did enjoy it, and I met my husband there. Though he didn't go to Portsmouth, he actually went to the LSE, but his brother went to Portsmouth, so that's how we met. He came down to see his brother in my 2nd year, and so that was 1975, and so we've been together ever since.
And did you ever come back to Harlow to live, or was that it after that?
No, well, I was going to come back to Harlow. So when my degree finished, I said, all right, I'm going back to Harlow now, and my boyfriend, as he was then, he said, oh, you're not going to go home to your mum and dad, are you, like that? And I felt really embarrassed, so I went to move in with him in London. And then that was it, we just stayed together in London.
So it was a relatively short period. When a town is 70 years, as a new town, you've got those 6 years, 75, 6 years. Did you enjoy living here?
I did, because I joined the Mark Hall Old Boys Society. They were people that were actually 4 years older than me, and they were their year was very gelled together. So they still have events now, which I go to, funnily enough. So we had really good times. You know, we had toga parties and all sorts. Line dancing, I think, once. So.
And I think on the phone, did I not say that because I was speaking to my brother about when David Bowie played? Harlow Players. You went to see Bowie?
Yes, I did. Yes, I'm about number, I think, 143 in the fan club. So yeah, my sister and I both went to see David Bowie at the Playhouse, and he was amazing, and because it was just before he became really famous, and so then he would run up into the audience and the stairs past me. It was all really exciting.
Were you aware of him as sort of had a hit a few years ago, and who was this guy, or did you
well,
go
I think
somebody
we knew the Starman. I think that's the song that really brought him, to the notice of everyone. So.
Or Space Oddity a couple of years before that, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, yes, it must have been the Space Oddity.
And did you go quite a lot of concerts in Harlow at that? In these periods?
Well, only the free concerts in the town park. And they were really good. We really enjoyed those, and Dad, he enjoyed when they had the bands as well. They were really good.
Those concerts are quite iconic, aren't they? The amount of people that refer back to those concerts, isn't it? Any particular band you remember?
They should do it again, because when when I went to see the concerts, I get bored doing nothing, so I sort of started helping out, picking out rubbish during the concert. And in the end, we started having sort of top-notch groups, like we had Bay City Rollers and Hawkwind. And so then I was asked, would I be a bouncer and get paid for it, whereas before I was doing everything for nothing. And so, yeah, so I did that. We had our little red t-shirts on with Harlow Council on. And I think they had paddling pool attendant as well, which they cut off. so we had that was our special t-shirt. And I think during the Bay City Rollers concert, there were a lot of people there, and they were pushing against the barriers, and then the barriers collapsed, and all these young girls all fell into there's like a moat around this stage, and they all fell in there, and the Bay City Rollers had to stop. And before that, we were trying to pull them out because it was just getting too jam packed. But that was really good. Yeah, and got to go backstage with the bands. So it was such fun in those days.
So you come back now and again to see your father, and we're still here in Churchfield.
Yes.
What do you think of Harlow now?
Well, I haven't really seen much of Harlow now, but since I've been seeing Dad, maybe we popped and had a look at the High, which people don't call it the High anymore, they just call it the town centre.
Only of a certain vintage. I call it the High.
Because I went to a bus once and said, do you go to the High? And she went, no. We only go to the bus station. I went, oh, that is the High. But that's all kind of strange, isn't it? I mean, they've got now 3 parts to the High now. They've got the sort of the old part, and they've got, then the Harvey Centre had just been built, I think, when I was here. And now they've got the other bit, the water gardens as well. So that's quite a lot better. I mean, when I was here, we had like one restaurant, I think, which was an Indian restaurant. All I can remember. But now they've got everything there. They've got Nando's. Yeah, big bank of restaurants. And
looking back, from your father's perspective, do you think he and your parents, do you think they enjoyed living here and bringing up children here?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Yeah, because my mum, she was really sad to leave Hertford with all her friends, but then she made some really good friends in Harlow. They were the best friends who really helped her out when she was ill and everything. Really good friends. Mm.
And what type of social circles did they work in? Did they have community groups they go to? Did they have a social life? Do you remember?
I don't know. She was just going out enjoying herself, and it's good. Okay. She's always had a job, there's always work.
And that's a big factor, wasn't it? That's come across over the years. The work aspect, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, because when I was a student, I had a Saturday job in Woolworths and in Marks and Spencer later on. I think in Woolworths I got like £1 3 and 6 for the day, and Marks and Spencer was a big change. I got £3 for the day, and then in the holidays I worked like the biscuit factory, green par engineering. I worked for the post office delivering letters. So you could easily get jobs in those days. It's just really easy. Pitney Bowes, you could work there.
So Woolworths, which department? I know a number of people I've interviewed regarding which department were you in Woolworths? Where that close to grassroots here. Which department do you remember working in Woolworths?
Oh, the one I really remember working in is the broken biscuits.
Ah.
Yeah.
And why do you remember that?
I mean, you just think nowadays you wouldn't have a broken biscuits section where people it was like obviously quite cheap if you just get these broken biscuits and you sold them by the pound or whatever. Of course, and then by working in the biscuit factory, I could see how the biscuits got broken and things like that. Because in the biscuit factory, if biscuits fell on the floor and were broken, they were put in separate bins to go to the pigs. But if they were broken on the conveyor belt, then they would go into the broken biscuit tins to be sold in Woolworths. So, yeah.
This is the social history that we're looking for about the biscuits. And Marks and Spencer's. That would have been quite new, wouldn't it, when you were there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, that was good. And I was on the bathroom rugs stand. So everyone had their own stand. So like I was designated that was my stand, and I had to go around tidying up the sort of toilet rugs and the bath rugs. And so when I first started, I was a bit green, so I whipped round. I got my little section all nice and tidy, and then I just stood there like this. And then the manager came by and she said, "Haven't you got any work to do, mistake?" Because they used to call you by your surname in those days, you know. So then I learned that you had to go around slowly tidying up, so you looked like you were busy the whole time. And then I worked on the food section, which I found really interesting because the time went really quick because you were constantly busy, customers always coming by, and I used to be really quick on the till. I used to like that. I like that my queue went through quicker. So one day I was on the till, and my old French teacher came by, Mr. Phipps, from when I was in Hertford. And he said, "Oh, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh." And then he said to me, "Oh, you just disappeared one day, you know." And I said, "Oh, yes, I know." And he goes, "Oh, did you keep up your French?" And I said, "Oh, no." He goes, "Oh, and you were really good." And I had no idea I was really good, and I'd given it up.